Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up, stretch a little, shuffle to the kitchen, and just feel off? Maybe your balance isn't quite right. Maybe the energy just isn't there. Or maybe you find yourself forgetting why you even walked into the room. It's easy to chalk that up to age. I guess this is just what getting older feels like, right? But what if I told you that some of what you're feeling could have less to do with aging, and more to do with something your body is quietly missing? Something small but powerful. Something as simple as a few essential vitamins that over time slip right through the cracks. Today, we're going to talk about the 4 common vitamins that many people over 60 are missing without even realizing it. And more importantly, what can happen to your body, your brain, and your mood if you don't get enough of them. These aren't exotic nutrients or trendy supplements. They're basics. But when your body doesn't have them, it knows, and slowly it starts to show. Let's start with something a lot of folks overlook: vitamin D. You might think of it as the sunshine vitamin, and that's true. But as we age, even a little daily sunlight isn't always enough. Our skin just doesn't produce vitamin D the way it used to, especially if we're indoors more often, wear sunscreen regularly, or live in cloudier areas. And here's the thing, when you don't get enough vitamin D, it doesn't just affect your bones, though that's a big part of it. Weak bones, brittle nails, aching joints, that's the surface level stuff. But deeper down, low vitamin D can quietly mess with your immune system. It can leave you more vulnerable to colds, infections, and even chronic inflammation, which has been linked to nearly every major disease. Worse yet, it can sap your energy and darken your mood. There's a reason people feel more sluggish and down in the winter. It's not just the cold. It's the lack of light and the plummeting vitamin D. Some seniors even feel low or mildly depressed for months, never realizing their body is simply asking for more of this humble little vitamin. What can you do? You can still enjoy a short walk outside in the mornings when the sun is gentle. But food can help too. Fatty fish like salmon, fortified milk, and egg yolks are natural ways to sneak more vitamin D into your day. If needed, talk to your doctor about a low-dose supplement. You might be surprised how different your body feels with that one simple shift. Now, while vitamin D often takes the spotlight, vitamin B12 is the silent partner that keeps your mind sharp and your nerves firing the way they should. This one's tricky, because even if you're eating all the right foods, your body might not be absorbing it properly anymore. That's because after 60, our stomach acid levels decline, making it harder to pull B12 from the food we eat. So what does that mean? It means that even if you're enjoying a nice Sunday roast or having eggs for breakfast, you still might be running low without knowing it. And the symptoms? They're sneaky. A bit more forgetful than usual. A little off balance. Tingling in the fingers or toes. Fatigue that no nap seems to cure. In some cases, it can mimic dementia symptoms, and that's terrifying for anyone. But there's good news. Unlike some health issues that creep in slowly and are hard to reverse, B12 is like flipping a switch. For many seniors, once the deficiency is found and addressed, either through food, sublingual tablets, or even injections if necessary, energy comes back. The fog lifts. That heaviness in the limbs, it eases up. It's like your body remembers how to run again. And here's a little encouragement. If you've been blaming yourself for slowing down, or feeling guilty for forgetting things, maybe it's not about effort or age. Maybe it's just about giving your body back what it's quietly asking for. There's a kind of relief that comes when you realize you're not broken, just missing something. And that brings us to a third one you might not expect: magnesium. Now, you might not think of magnesium as a vitamin because technically it's a mineral, but it's just as vital. Magnesium plays a role in over 300 processes in the body. Everything from keeping your heartbeat steady to calming your nerves and muscles. And here's the kicker. Most adults don't get enough of it. Especially as we get older, our absorption drops, and we tend to eat less of the foods that are rich in magnesium, like leafy greens, legumes, nuts, and whole grains. Think about it. When was the last time spinach or pumpkin seeds were on your plate? The signs of low magnesium are subtle at first. Maybe it starts with leg cramps at night. Maybe your sleep isn't quite as deep as it used to be. You feel restless but tired. You lie in bed, your mind buzzing but your body exhausted. Over time, it can contribute to high blood pressure, anxiety, and even affect your blood sugar levels. But like everything we've talked about so far, the solution isn't complicated. A handful of almonds, a small bowl of cooked spinach, even a sprinkle of magnesium-rich seeds on your yogurt can start to shift things. It's not about changing everything overnight. It's about inviting balance back into your life, one meal at a time. And the beautiful part is this: your body wants to feel good. It really does. It's not working against you. It's just waiting for the tools it needs to do its job. You see, when we understand what's going on beneath the surface, we can take back a little bit of the control we thought we'd lost. It's not magic. It's just wisdom. And that's something you've already got plenty of. When your body starts to whisper, something's off, it's easy to ignore it. A twinge in your leg, a cloudy thought, a restless night. But what if we started listening to those whispers instead of waiting until they become full-blown shouts? Now that we've looked at vitamin D, B12, and magnesium, there's one more common nutrient that often slips under the radar. And it's one you probably know by name: vitamin K2. Yes, K2, not K1, which you get from leafy greens and is great for clotting, but K2, which plays a different and incredibly important role, especially as you age. See, vitamin K2 acts like a traffic cop for calcium in your body. It tells calcium where to go, and more importantly, where not to go. Without enough K2, calcium can end up in the wrong places. Instead of going into your bones where it belongs, it might settle in your arteries, making them harder and stiffer over time. And when that happens, your risk for heart disease goes up, even if you're doing everything else right: eating well, exercising, watching your cholesterol. This is why so many older adults, even those who take calcium supplements, still experience issues like bone fractures or heart concerns. Because without enough K2 to direct that calcium, it becomes more of a problem than a solution. You don't hear about this in your average doctor's visit, but it matters, especially for seniors who are taking vitamin D and calcium to protect their bones. Without K2 in the mix, that calcium can end up causing more harm than good. The body's needs shift with time, and vitamin K2 is one of those needs that becomes louder with age. So where can you get it? The best natural source is something most people in the West don't eat much of: a fermented Japanese food called natto. But don't worry, you don't need to become a fan of fermented soybeans overnight. K2 can also be found in smaller amounts in egg yolks, certain cheeses like Gouda and Brie, and in liver. And yes, it's also available as a supplement, often paired with D3, since they work so well together. Now, don't feel overwhelmed if you've never heard of K2 before. You're not alone. It's not your fault if the label on your multivitamin didn't mention it, or if your doctor hasn't brought it up. What matters is that you know now. That awareness gives you power. It gives you the ability to make choices that support your body, your heart, your bones, and your peace of mind. And speaking of choices, let's pause for a moment and talk about how these vitamins aren't just nutrients. They're signals. They're like quiet messages your body is constantly sending out, asking for support, asking to be heard. When you notice your memory slipping a bit, your balance not feeling as steady, or your sleep becoming fragmented and shallow, it's not always a big, scary problem. Sometimes it's your body gently saying, "I need a little help." And that help often comes in small, doable ways. Not a complete lifestyle overhaul, not a restrictive diet or a marathon of supplements. Just a little curiosity, a little attentiveness, maybe adding an extra egg a few mornings a week, choosing spinach over lettuce once in a while, asking your doctor to check your B12 levels next time you're in. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to begin. And I know, vitamins and minerals don't always feel exciting. They don't have fancy marketing or big claims on TV. But they work quietly, in the background, keeping your body running, your mind sharp, and your heart beating strong. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. Many people in their 70s and even 80s who start paying attention to these basics find themselves feeling younger than they did in their 60s. Not because they discovered some miracle cure, but because they stopped missing what their bodies were missing. Sometimes energy isn't about doing more. It's about removing the quiet weight that's been dragging you down. Sometimes Clarity of thought comes not from brain games, but from giving your brain the fuel it actually needs to function. Sometimes better sleep doesn't come from trying harder, but from helping your muscles relax with a little magnesium before bed. These changes don't just make you feel better, they help you reclaim parts of yourself that you thought were lost to time. And here's something else that matters. This isn't just about preventing disease. It's about living, really living. Laughing without fatigue, walking without wincing, remembering names, faces, birthdays, not because you wrote them down, but because your brain is sharp and awake. That's what you deserve. That's what these little nutrients, these invisible helpers, can support you in doing. So take a moment right now and think about what you've been feeling lately. Is there a fog that's settled in your mornings? A stiffness that creeps in at night? Do you feel a little more tired than you used to, even on the calmest days? It's not weakness, it's not failure. It's just a clue, a gentle nudge that something simple, something as basic as a missing vitamin, could be the missing piece of the puzzle. And once you start seeing your body this way, not as a list of problems, but as a messenger, you'll start to feel more connected to your health, not less. You'll realize it's not too late to feel good again. Not too late to feel strong again. Not too late to feel like you again. Let's keep going, because everything you've just heard isn't about fear, it's about hope. And hope doesn't come in pills or powders. It comes in understanding, in awareness, in knowing what you can do, no matter what age you are. The beautiful thing about paying attention to your health later in life is that your body still listens, it still responds, it still wants to heal. Even if you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, it's never too late to feel better, to move more freely, to wake up feeling just a little more like yourself again. And sometimes the changes we need aren't found in complicated regimens or expensive programs. They're found in the little things, those tiny nutrients that carry out big responsibilities inside us every single day. When you give your body what it's been quietly asking for, the difference can feel surprising, even a little magical. Maybe you start remembering names without hesitation. Maybe the stairs don't feel quite so steep anymore. Maybe you laugh a little easier, sleep a little deeper, or wake up with just a bit more pep in your step. That's the power of filling in the missing pieces. So, let's gently tie everything together now. Vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, supports your bones, your immunity, and even your mood. It's more than just a supplement. It's like fuel for your foundation. When you bring it back into balance, you may start feeling less stiff, less foggy, more resilient, especially when paired with even short bursts of morning light or a few servings of fatty fish each week. Then we have B12, the brain's best friend. It's the reason your nerves communicate properly, the reason your thoughts stay clear, the reason your energy doesn't feel like it disappears by midday. And because the ability to absorb B12 drops with age, it's often not about what you're eating, but how well your body can pull it out of the food. Catching a deficiency early here can make an enormous difference in how sharp and vibrant you feel day to day. Magnesium is like nature's calm button. It soothes muscles, regulates your heartbeat, helps you sleep, and supports mood stability. If you've ever had restless legs at night or found yourself lying awake with a racing mind, this might be the missing mineral you didn't know you needed. And the best part? It's in everyday foods, nuts, greens, whole grains, legumes. Nothing fancy, just natural, gentle nourishment. And then there's vitamin K2, often overlooked, but so important. It protects your arteries, guides calcium to your bones, and works quietly behind the scenes to make sure your heart and skeletal system stay strong. Especially if you're already taking vitamin D or calcium, K2 is like the missing partner that makes sure everything ends up in the right place. Together, these nutrients don't just prevent problems, they support possibility. The possibility of feeling stable on your feet again. The possibility of remembering your grandchild's recital date without having to check your phone. The possibility of waking up and looking forward to your day, not because you have something big planned, but simply because you feel good. And I want to be clear, this isn't about chasing youth. You've earned your years. Every line, every story, every bit of wisdom you've gathered, it matters. This is about honoring your body as it is today and supporting it so it can support you back. You're not meant to feel tired all the time. You're not supposed to forget words or struggle with balance or feel like life is slowly getting dimmer. If that's happening, your body might not be aging, it might be asking for help, for attention, for nourishment. And you have the power to answer it. You don't need to do this perfectly. You don't need to memorize every vitamin source or overhaul your entire pantry. You just need to begin with one small question. What have I been missing? And then gently begin filling in the gaps, one habit at a time, one small addition to breakfast, one question at your next checkup. That's all it takes. You've spent a lifetime giving to others, to your work, to your family. Now is the time to give something back to yourself. You deserve to feel strong. You deserve clarity and comfort. You deserve mornings that start with energy, not exhaustion. And you deserve evenings that end with rest, not frustration. It's not too late. You're not too far gone. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's just been waiting for you to tune in. And now that you've taken the time to watch this, to listen, to reflect, I want you to take a moment to feel proud of yourself. Because not everyone makes the choice to care this much, but you did. You're here, you're curious, and that's the first, most important step toward lasting wellness. If this video sparked something in you, if it reminded you of a symptom you've brushed aside, or if it gave you a new idea for your next grocery list, I'd love to hear about it. Share your thoughts in the comments below. You never know who else might read your story and feel encouraged to take that next step for themselves. And if this message felt helpful, kind, or maybe even a little hopeful, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like more gentle guidance on staying strong, sharp, and joyful through every chapter of life. We're building a community here, a place where age is not a decline, but a deeper version of living, where being over 60 doesn't mean being invisible. It means being wise, being empowered, being whole. So here's to you, to the mornings that still hold promise, to the strength that never really left, it just needed the right support, to the simple truth that you still matter, you still shine, and your best days aren't behind you. They're unfolding, one nourishing choice at a time. Take care of yourself, be gentle, be proud, and remember, your body is still listening. Keep feeding it what it needs, and it just might surprise you.